Hey everyone, this is Keith Scott from out in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bullwinkle J. Moose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kenny and Andy McPhee.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny and welcome to Relentless and Unstoppable. We have another amazing guest coming on the channel today, so please hit like and subscribe. And after this episode, please stay tuned to the RNU channel for more amazing guests. Let's get this on!
Hey everybody, how you doing? Just a quick little share of why I started Relentless and Unstoppable. It was for one very simple reason, because of Doug Kenny. Nothing to do with me at all, zero. I was just coaching Doug, and he took on the coaching and mentoring, and he made all the changes. He took all the suggestions from his parents as well as my coaching, but it was all about Doug, his breakthrough and his weight loss, his willingness to accept that he is dealing with high functioning autism and other issues, but he's never quit, he's never given up. So we did one interview with him to share his story, and then we decided to start interviewing other people. And Doug has now taken over the whole channel, and he does all the interviews, he runs everything. He's just an amazing young man. So RNU was born from simply what an amazing young man Doug is, and his story needed to be shared.
So, it kind of explains, why I felt, and many things I read were disappointed in Jake Lloyd's performance. But it's not that he's not a bad little actor or a great kid, or certainly capable of making us believe in him in that world. But he didn't really get the help that he needed, and that looks like it may be the case today as well. I have not seen him since he was a little boy. Sorry to say, I've seen many of the other kids I've worked with as grown-ups, but not him. But I guess, he'll always have Star Wars conventions.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate what Jake's adulthood has been like. The last I heard, which was a couple years ago, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, but that was a couple years ago, and he's maintained a low profile since then, I believe.
Well, I hope he pulls it out. Good kid, good family, not one of those awful situations like I observed, some of the Bad News Bears parents robbing them blind. Or my favorite kid actor story isn't one about somebody, becoming addicted to drugs and dying. It's from Leave It to Beaver, the original series. A girl, I can't remember her name, who played, her character name was Judy Hensler. She was in maybe 14 episodes, and she was a kid who always taunted Beaver and made fun of him. Oh yeah, what are you going to do about it, Beaver? That kind of kid. And so she turned 18, and knowing that there'd be some money to her, and she said, "Hey mom, where's all the money I made on Leave It to Beaver?" And her mother gestures out the sliding glass door to the pool and says, "There it is."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, isn't that perfect?
So let me ask, what was oh yeah, did you know when Arnold Schwarzenegger was casted, did you have a feeling he was ever going to go on to become governor?
No, let's start this way. So the script was purchased from Randy Kornfeld, who worked for the studio as a script reader, right? And it was inspired by the Cabbage Patch Kid doll crazes, where you couldn't find them on the shelves and parents were desperate. And this was repeated with Tickle Me Elmo just a few years ago. I noticed there's this car commercial that is kind of a Jingle All the Way ripoff of a man and a woman frantically driving across town to get an action figure, which, hey, it's okay with me because they want you to recognize that it's from Jingle. Anyways, what the hell were we talking about? I can't get
What I
off.
was asking was, did you know when casting
Oh yeah, so, all
Schwarzenegger that
right.
he
So okay,
would?
I'm sorry. So Randy Kornfeld, so they bought the script, and like I said, they gave it to Chris Columbus, who just signed a producing deal with the studio, as well as directing. And they originally saw it as like a $17 million movie starring Danny Stern, from Home Alone, and I did a movie with him a few years ago as well. Um, and somehow somebody had the idea, what if we make Myron and Howard Langston, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Danny DeVito, and reteam them for a third time, you know? And Arnold basically said yes, and DeVito said no. I can understand. I'm sure, it would have been a wonderful payday for Danny DeVito, and and it would have changed the movie. Really, when to me, one of the reasons I liked having Sinbad was he's bigger than Arnold. He could throw his weight around, and the two of them. It's much more of a fair fight.
Yeah.
I think that but maybe Danny DeVito didn't want to become the new Hope and Crosby, which he's pretty smart about his career, and I wouldn't doubt that he didn't want his fame to be dependent on Arnold's, and vice versa, right? So, anyways, and I went to meet him at his trailer. I think he was making Eraser.
Hmm.
Is that the one that came out right before
I believe so,
Jingle? I
yeah.
think so. Yeah. And they were finishing up. They were shooting, and I didn't know there was an abandoned zoo in Griffith Park in LA. And I guess this has been around. It's a great movie set, I guess. But that's why when you ever see people at deserted zoos, you'll know, chasing each other around with guns, you'll know where it is. So, anyways, and we had a pretty good meeting. I think I sold myself as somebody who was who came from like him, an athletic background in athletics, where you get yourself geared up, and you go and you attack something, and you try different things, and it's a process that's filled with energy and spontaneity, rather than being so self-evaluatory, let's consider, now, is this really the right way to do that? Well, you won't know until you try. So we try. And I believe that struck a note with him, because that's the way he likes to work. Let's go in there. Let's grind on it. Let's make it better. Let's get it perfect. This is a guy who his initial fame was based purely on perfection, and the perfection he brought to his body, and he used those same skills to turn himself into a performer, to turn himself into a first-rate businessman, and what he's done for fitness. I mean, when Arnold first broke out on the scene, there was always a weightlifting culture, and always people who had a couple in their garage, but weight training was not, physical fitness was not really part of most Americans' diet. And I think that he is that's the most lasting impact beyond the movies, beyond the political success, the cultural success, and probably one that he's not really giving credit for, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I must ask, what was it like shooting the scene where Howard, played by Arnold, gets conned into buying a broken Turbo Man, and he looks at the con men with the most angriest stare ever?
Oh yeah. no, the whole it was kind of a crazy concept. This warehouse filled with nothing but Santas and crooks in Santa's outfits. These huge assembly lines and toys flying all over it, and it it was a pain in the ass to shoot. Because there's so many little pieces to it. And you know, if you watch the Family Fun edition, what they call the Family Fun edition is really the director's cut. And there's a much longer version of that scene in there. Unfortunately, when they replaced the soundtrack, it's much too low, which now I can't watch it. That's all I think about is the guy I knew. How did he leave that so low? I can't believe it. Still, it's terrible. Anyways, and we had what was his wrestling name? The Giant or something. And we had, huh?
Was it Terminator or no?
No. I think he was he was 7'4", probably about 350 or something. Really big man. And he was a college basketball player, but when I dug a little deeper, he said no, he didn't have the foot speed, to play at the next level. He could certainly clog a lane. Actually, I have a toy. I have a toy of him that I don't have room in my Jingle All the Way shelf anymore for all of the Turbo Man toys, the memorabilia. There's a fella on Instagram, Rumor Skywalker, RUMOUR, Skywalker, and he and his partner at Hysteric_Creations. I have made the most gorgeous talking Turbo Man dolls, which, unlike the ones we made, actually, are jointed and can move. And also, unlike previous editions that our friend Kasai has made in Japan with various production partners, it's a talking Turbo Man like the original Tiger, except what kind of pissed me off about the Tiger was I said, why didn't they use Dan Reardon, the guy who plays Turbo Man? It's Turbo time, So I got Dan Reardon to record, to record 4 phrases, and they're giving him a doll in exchange. Not a doll, an action figure. So I'm very proud of that there's so many people who still want that and want to have more than just the original or the Funko version or the Pops. That it means that there's another world of collecting. That people are having Turbo Man collections, and for someone who I did not design this alone, certainly. With my storyboard artist, Daryl Henley. We did over 20 years together on every project I did. And with Tim Flattery, a brilliant production designer. Check out his Instagram. It was just, who's created, Flintmobiles, Batmobiles, and the three of us really hammered it out. And I really thought we did a pretty good job. There's details in the costume that you really wouldn't notice. That they're really the fins on. I said the cowl on his helmet. They're really all taken. If you look at the light on the back of Turbo Man's head, it's the tail light of a 1959 Cadillac. So we took all these little design features from different eras and different types of super suits and put them all together. And in the end, when all was said and done, and I'm standing in front of Arnold in the suit, on the set, and I said to myself, shit, it really looks like Iron Man.
What did Arnold say?
I never would say that out loud. First of all, he would probably say, "Who's Iron Man?"
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.